Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm just making sure this laptop doesn't lag too much. If it does in this video, I'm very sorry, but I wanted to come at you for this worst albums of 2025 end of the year video. And this is to determine which I think is the worst and which is the worst album of the year. So I'm going to discuss from 19 to 1 the albums I listened to, which are 19 albums, and let you know my thoughts on the worst albums of 2025 end of the year video. So let's dive into this end of the year video starting at number 19, which is 5 Seconds of Summer's Everyone's a Star. This one was very disappointing. It's not the worst thing I've heard, but it is bad. I just didn't like 3 of the singles from the record. They were kind of crap, but the other songs were better a little bit. The title track is pretty good, but overall the rest of the record kind of flopped in a way because of the 3 singles being very disappointing songs. I had to unfortunately give it a 5.5 out of 10. It was not a good release from them. I was very disappointed with 5 Seconds of Summer on this one. So it is what it is. At least it's in the top part of the tier thing for the worst albums, but it's still on the worst albums. Next at number 18 is Summer Walker with Finally Over It. This one was another bad one. I wasn't feeling for this one. I think her vocals are very good, but it's just some of the featured artists in this release of hers for Finally Over It, her long-awaited project she's been trying to get out, was another flop. I wouldn't say it's something I've already heard from her series for Over It and all that stuff, but I would say this is probably the most disappointing one. But her vocals did shine for certain songs on this record, but it was just track 12 and some other tracks that really disappointed me. So that's my number 18 pick. Number 17 is Taylor Swift with Life of a Showgirl, or The Life of a Showgirl, I should say. I think this was a cash grab album, in my opinion. This release did nothing for me. I mean, the first song, The Fate of Ophelia, was a good song. After that, the rest of the record kind of flopped big time. It was just so disappointing of a release from her. So, I was very displeased with this record. And the last record was worse than this record. It made it at my number 2 last year. The Tortured Poets Department release was worse than this record, but this record was trying a more pop style stuff or whatever, but this wasn't a good release from her, so I was very displeased with this. I mean, personally, she's a nice person from what I hear, but it's just musicality wise, she's been dropping release after release, and I think it's time to take a break, Taylor Swift, because you need a long break from music. So yeah, Taylor Swift, The Life of a Showgirl at my number 17. Number 16 is Lisa with Alter Ego. This was a disappointing release this year. I mean, certain songs were okay on this release, but I think she tried too hard with certain songs like Rockstar, which was crap. And then the following track after that was even worse. I can't remember. This came out in February this year, like the end of February, but I was very displeased with this record. So, yeah. Lisa Alter Ego is a bad release, and it made it at my number 16. I mean, certain songs like Born Again was okay, but everything else about the release didn't strike me as amazing or anything. So, I mean, she's a K-pop singer, and that's fine and all, and she's with the Blackpink K-pop group, but I was very displeased with her solo work for this one. So, yeah, that's my number 16 pick. Number 15 is After a Jewel with You're an Idol. Now, this was a paid request that I did, and I was very let down by this. It isn't the worst thing I've heard, but it is bad of a release. I mean, it's only one person in this band from what I found out. Or not band, but it's a solo project. And I was very displeased with his vocals in this release. I was not feeling it. I mean, this is not for me, but hey, I think the next project should be a little better as long as he can do better vocal delivery and sound. The mixing and all that should sound a little better in my opinion, but it is what it is. It made it on my worst albums, unfortunately, in the top 15. Number 14 is Baby Metal with Metal Fourth. Now, this was another one that I was very let down by. Like, the Con song with Bloody Wood was terrible. And then some other tracks like Metally featuring Tom Morello was even worse. And yeah, there was a few bad apples on this record. But I wouldn't say Kawaii was the worst one too. So that was the third song that I really was let down by. So Baby Metal Fourth is their worst as of lately. It made it in the top 15, but it's at number 14 because I was very let down by this release. I mean, certain other songs on here were really good, but this record flopped big time. I think the last record was better, the other one, and I think they kind of rushed this one to get out too quick, and they didn't work on some of the song structure or try to add some flavor to this record to make it sound good and better with some of the singles. So yeah, Baby Metal Fourth at number 14. Number 13 is Keke Palmer with Just Keke. Now, this is her solo work as an R&B artist, rap artist, and I was very let down by this one too. It's a 5 out of 10 is what I gave it when I reviewed it in June, like close to the end of June. So I was very let down by some of the lyrical content on some of this record. And some of the ways she was singing and rapping and talking in this record, I was not feeling for. It just felt like there was a bunch of interludes on this release that did nothing for me. And this record did nothing for me, honestly. So it's a letdown. That's my number 13 pick. I got nothing more to say. I was just very displeased with this. Number 12 is Rise Against with Ricochet. Now, this is a surprise because Rise Against has never made it on my worst albums until now. What the fuck were they thinking with this record? Like, the sound quality on this record is terrible. It's like, they could have done something better. I Want It All was the only one I liked off this record. Some other songs were okay, but most of this record was filled with fillerish, just generic, also cringy sound mixing in this record from how Tim singing was sounding like a live song for most of these songs. It's like a phone kind of shit or whatever you call it, like those microphone things where your voice is really loud on it and you're holding it to use it. That's what it's like. This record was terrible. The title track was worse. And I was very let down by... Oh, God. Give me a second. I gotta pause the video. Hey, sorry about that, guys. My dog was barking for a second. Just to finish up, Rise Against Ricochet's at my number 12. It was not a good record. I am so sorry about that noise for a moment. She does that a lot. So, the next one is at number 11 with Thornhill Bodies. This one was another bad release. Every time I hear Thornhill and the way Jacob sings this record, I'm just not feeling for most of the singing on this, but it's the screaming that's pretty strong, but it's just the singing is terrible from him. It's like, what the fuck? Why are they still a band? Why are they still making music if they can't put out something good? Because this is not good. This is just crap. So, yeah. Thornhill, Bodies, number 11. It's not the worst thing of the year, but it's still bad. And now to the top 10. We got number 10, Tame Impala with Deadbeat. Now, I think, what is it? I was already forgetting his name. I think this record did not do very good for how it sounded, and I just think this record was mixed poorly. I also think this record could have used a lot more interesting moments with the singing and just Kevin Parker. That's who I was thinking of. I was already forgetting his name for a moment. So yeah, Kevin Parker's singing is terrible in this. I think the mixing for this record was very crap. So was the Summer record. That song was terrible. Certain other tracks were pretty bad too. Dracula was alright, and the opening track was pretty good, but everything else was terrible on this record. The mixing is very bad on this album, and it's just not well produced. So I think this was a rushed release for Tame Impala. I think the Slow Rush was better, and it's unfortunate that it had to be in my top 10 because this is not a good record. Not at all. Number 9 is Sick Puppies with Wave the Bowl. Now this was cheesy as hell. Like, Going Places was the worst fucking track on the record. So was Friends Like You. So was other tracks like, I think There Goes the Neighborhood and Creature were the only ones I liked from this record. And Fix Me was not a bad song. But everything else, like Find a Way was eh. But Fuck 'Em All was the worst fucking track on the record. One of the worst tracks. It just didn't sound good. And Brian's singing and how they're trying to make something different from their last record. This is not the Sick Puppies I know. This is the Sick Puppies that went on the cringe side of things. So they kind of flopped with this album. It is a 4 out of 10. It's the worst thing I've heard this year. It made it in my top 10. So yeah, there you go. Number 8 is Nova Twins with Parasites and Butterflies. Now this release was another bad one. Was not feeling for this release. I think how they sing and all that, it just sounds crap, honestly. I mean, Nova Twins, they're not terrible singers. It's just how this record is mixed and produced. I'm not feeling for this. It is a bad release, so that's my number 8. I got nothing more to say on this release. I know I heard it back at the end of August, but I was not much of a fan of this release for the 12 tracks that were on it. Sorry, I'm slurring with my wording. So yeah, number 8, Nova Twins, Parasites, and Butterflies. Number 7 is Eric Bass presents I Had a Name. What the fuck was this record trying to do? This is another bad album. Now, to be honest, Mind Control was bad. So was Azalea. And a few other tracks on this record were pretty bad. Most of this record was very bad. I was not feeling for how this was sounding. And yeah, it's not a good release for 2025. And I know he's with the band Shinedown, but this is not a good effort from Eric Bass. He tries to sound like Brent Smith from Shinedown, and it's sounding very cringy. So, fuck this album. And fuck this release. Number 6 is Soulfly with Shama. Another terrible release from Soulfly. Probably worse than Totem. Definitely worse than Totem, actually, because it's a rating down from what I gave Totem. Totem, I think I gave a 5 out of 10 in 2022. I'm not feeling for how, what is it, Max Cavalera's singing is in this release. Yeah, Max Cavalera. That's who I was thinking of. I knew it was with an M, but I just couldn't think of it. But his singing was awful in this whole entire record. The mixing, it tried something, but it fucking flopped. This is the worst fucking album that I've heard this year. One of the worst. It's in the top 6. So, what does that tell you? So, Soulfly, Shama, bad album. Wasn't feeling for how this record was produced. There was a few tracks without his singing, like the interlude tracks, also the instrumental tracks were fine. But when Storm the Gates came in, I was like, what the fuck is this crap? This is crap. So, Soulfly at number 6 was Shama. Now to the top 5. We got MGK with Lost Americana. Fuck this album. For sure, it's in my top 5, so fuck this album. This album is garbage. I don't know why, but his singing is ear grating, and the title track was trying something. I mean, the outro to it was alright, but the song was bad. So was, he tries to stay in this, oh, I'm gonna try something new with this next album. Oh, I'm gonna be in the trends with the pop trends, trendy music and all that. And it's like, you are irrelevant as fuck, and you need to fucking give up on music. Eminem fucking roasted your ass in 2018, so give up. And then you went to pop punk for a little bit. Then you switch back to your rapping / pop kind of shit with this new album. This album tried to be an alternative rock pop album, and it failed. Big time. Like, Can't Stay Here was probably the only song I liked from this release, even though his singing was not the best. But overall, his singing is terrible in this entire release. So, fuck Lost Americana. It can go straight down the toilet drain because it's in the top 5. Number 4 is Puddle of Mudd with Kiss the Machine, another bad release that I've heard this year. I didn't even have 2 out of 10 albums this year, which is so sad. Because most of this year was filled with a little bit of cringe. With some cringy singles, some cringy albums. But you'll see a lot more better albums for my best albums, for sure. But Puddle of Mudd fucking sucks now. I'm very displeased with how Wes Scantlin is singing in this record, how the mixing and the sound of this record is sounding. It is so terrible. Like, the title track, or I think it was Butamus or something like that. I can't remember what the song was called. It was something like that. Butamus or something like that. It was terrible as a single, and it was the worst fucking song. He's sounding like he's drunk as hell singing this record, and when he did that Nirvana cover, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're sounding like a whiny, screeching, wound-up toy that needs to stop getting drunk every fucking day and stop making stupid fucking mistakes in your life and try to do better. But no, you always want to play victim and say, no, I never did that. It's like, whatever. Fuck you, Wes Scantlin, and fuck this album. So, number 4 was Puddle of Mudd with Kiss the Machine. I don't mean to sound cruel in any way, but I think the older Puddle of Mudd was better than the new Puddle of Mudd. Number 3 is Cardi B with Am I the Drama. Now, I decided to put it a little higher this time, even though it wasn't a good release this year. It's in my top 3 because Cardi B sucks. I don't know what it is, but she always puts out a release that is going to sound good, going to try to sound good, but it doesn't. It fails in the process. I think as of now, I'd give it a 1.5 out of 10. It's not the worst record this year, but it's not even worst album of the year. That is awarded to someone else, of course. So Cardi B tried to make some pretty solid pop, like bass beats and all that, and some of it was not sounding bad, but it's just the execution for the last few songs were terrible, like Up and WAP. Those songs were bad, and some other tracks on here were very bad, but most of the release tried something different, and it started to sound a little fresh from the last release, but at the same time, it took her this long to make an album, and it failed big time. It took 7 years to make this record, and it fucking sucked. It's another bad project from her. So that's my number 3 pick. Now to number 2, the runner-up, Kesha with Period. What the fuck was she thinking with this album? This is awful. She is sounding awful in this album with certain songs on here, like Yippee-Ki-Yay or whatever was one of the songs with a feature artist. That was bad. Boy Crazy was the worst fucking thing I've heard. And it sounds terrible. It's like she's fucking drunk and singing like she's wasted as hell. And it's like, get sober and sing better. Like, I'm the One was the only one I liked from this record. And then there was another one. Delusional was pretty solid. But everything else about this release had me at, oh, fuck this album. It is my runner-up of 2025. So, fuck Kesha, fuck this release. It's terrible as hell. I'm so throwing away my fan card of Kesha because I used to like her older stuff until now. Because she was trying something different with, like, the 2017 album, Rainbow, I think it was. And then she went into more generic bullshit and cringy bullshit. So, yep, Kesha, period, is the runner-up, number 2. Excuse my coughing. And finally, at number 1, drum roll, please. AJR with What No One's Thinking EP. Now, this is the worst thing I've heard. It made it as the number 1. So what do you expect? AJR with more bullshit. They don't fucking quit. They don't fucking give up on music because Jack sounds like a terrible ass singer and he makes irrelevant lyrics with the songs that don't make sense. They're nonsensical and they don't mesh up with how the song's sounding. The mixing in this is very bad on this record. I know it tried to be a mellow album with what it was trying to go for, and I was very let down by this record with some of the nonsensical lyrics, some of the lyrics that have cussing in it that sound irrelevant to what the song is trying to pertain about. Sorry, my video lagged for a second. What the song's trying to pertain about is what I was trying to say before it cut me off. And yeah, this is the worst fucking release of 2025. It is the worst album of 2025. I know it's an EP, but I count it as something I listened to in 2025. So, fuck AJR, give up on music, you fucking suck. You need to fucking stop. And stop the brakes right there. because this is fucking terrible. And if you make another album, go right for it. I don't give a fuck at this point. I know I was gonna stop listening to AJR, but I just do it just to get views and all that, so I'm kind of being an asshole on my part, but at the same time, fuck this album, fuck AJR, and worst release of the year. That is going to be it for the worst albums of 2025. I hope you enjoyed the worst albums of 2025. I'm sorry, the video is really lagging a bit. It does that sometimes when I have my Ethernet cable in or something like that. It just, the video quality is kind of terrible on this sometimes when I do it on my laptop. But other than that, I'm going to wrap this video up. I got 2 more end of the year videos next weekend. So definitely stay tuned for this premiere video for I think 9 a.m. tomorrow. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this end of the year video for worst albums of 2025, and thanks for watching.